All right. Next up, we got some doors that open up, little rubber doors. We have our USB connection. This is a 3.0 connection, so if you want to connect your camera up to your computer for downloading it, you can do so right here. You can also plug in the WT7A wireless transmitter. Now, the camera does have SnapBridge, it does have Wi-Fi built into it, but these are, well, a little flaky from time to time, a little inconsistent. They don't have a great range. If you need a more robust system, if you were going to take this camera to the Olympics and you're going to mount the camera at the end of the long jump pit and you have to be out in the stands and you need to wirelessly get photos as the long jumpers come down and run down and jump and do their long jump, and you're firing your camera from a distance, and you need your photos absolutely no interference at all, you wanted to have a stronger signal, this is the type of device that you would want to buy. It's relatively expensive. It's about $800. But it gets you a much, much stronger Wi-Fi signal. Next up, we have our microphone input, little standard 3.5-inch jack. You can use a Nikon or other brand of microphone if you want. We have headphone jack, standard size, 3.5 millimeters there as well. We then have our HDMI port, so you could either record 4K externally, or if you want to hook the camera up to a TV, you could do slideshows and show movies from the camera as well there. In the box, you're probably going to get these little HDMI USB clips so that if you're working in a studio, it prevents the cables from falling out of the camera as you might accidentally bump them. And so that's what those little plastic things are for. Working our way over to the right side of the camera, first off is our little NFC symbol. And so for those of you with Android devices, this does not work with the Apple iOS system. But for the Androids, they have a little system where you get really close, about 4 inches away, and it will automatically connect devices so that you can send images from the camera to your phone so you can upload them to the internet from there. There is a little tiny rubber door that opens up in case you want to use AC power for scientific reasons or for tethered use in the studio where you need constant battery supply. There's this little battery that has a cord that runs out of it that kind of slips out that little door right there if you need those adapters. Our memory cards, we have the new XQD and our more traditional secure digital card. So the XQD card is something that Nikon went to so that they could have faster read and write times for shooting 4K video and just for shooting still photos as fast as possible. And so these have a fairly limited collection right now, and I'm sure that at some point in the future this class is going to seem very dated in that 128 gigabytes is as big as we can get these things. Oh, that's corny how small that is. In the future there'll be much larger sizes, we know that, but as of right now those are the sizes that you can get. And the read and write times are just very, very fast on this, which is really nice for anybody who shoots a lot of data and wants to get that on and off the card very quickly. The more standard SD memory cards is something that's very popular on cameras right now. And so the SD, HC, and XC is dealing with how big the cards are. You can use the UHS Type 2 cards, which are the faster SD cards, which have a second row of pins so that you can get more data on and off more quickly. The speed of the card is important for still photographers, sports photographers who are trying to shoot data and trying to get that peak speed of information stored and read off of the card. If you're shooting video, the bus speed and the minimum speed are a little bit more important because video is kind of not, it's just heavy data on a constant flow basis, and so that's where you need a camera that has a minimum write speed that's relatively quick. And so if you are going to be shooting a lot of video on this, I would recommend, at least in the SD cards, a Speed Class 3 card which handles 30 megabytes per second or faster. So when it comes to the memory and memory cards, as I said, you can plug your camera in to download images. It's a relatively slow process, and it also takes the battery life and uses your camera. I recommend getting one of the card readers and plugging that in because it's a much faster processing system. And if you have the option of just simply plugging your card in the camera, that's also very good as well. Speaking about the cards, one of the things you'll want to do on a regular basis is format your memory cards. This deletes the photos, deletes the ghost files, the directories, everything on the card, and resets it to communicate with this particular camera. So if you have a friend that has a Canon camera, first off, have pity for them. And secondly, if they give you a card, you're going to want to reformat the card before you start using it in your Nikon camera.